When I first decided to come on this journey to Italy, I'm actually in the Bahamas. If you hadn't caught up yet, I'm in the Bahamas right now. But I started my journey in Italy. And the whole reason why I was doing that I thought I was doing that, was to celebrate me. It was my birthday month. It was the anniversary of my divorce, the first anniversary, and then it would have been my 27th wedding anniversary. So it was kind of a big month, a lot of dates there. I'm gonna set this down here. Okay, there, I feel like my head was so far high. So my original plan to go to Italy was to get to know myself, because having been married for 26 years and then having been newly divorced, I didn't feel like I really knew what I liked, and I wanted to know more about me. I just wanted to develop myself. So the whole journey of On My Way to You became getting to understand, it's kind of like, what kind of eggs do you like, right? I didn't want to adapt myself any longer to the people that were around me. I wanted to really know who I was, what I wanted, what I liked, so then I wasn't adapting myself any longer. Okay, now I'm going to tell you what actually happened. So this is the beauty of, we think we have a plan, and then that plan goes right out the window. But what happens is even more amazing than what you could have ever planned. So when I thought that I was going to Italy just to get to know what I liked, that's how I started my journey. The first few days, probably first week and a half, I just paid really close attention to what I did like, what I enjoyed, what I liked to buy, getting to know me. Spent some time getting to know me, laughing, being as dumb and silly as I possibly wanted to be. So if you've seen some of those videos, I was legit. I had such a good time. And so I got to know myself. And then something very interesting happened. So I was with Madi for a while, and then she went home. And then I began my journey by myself in Italy. And what happened the next 12 days blows my mind, and that's what I'm going to share with you. So the first 4 days, I spent time fleshing out things about myself, realizing things about myself, designing myself. That's what I spent my time doing for the first 4 days. I was really like getting my bearings, right? Getting my feet under me. And I've got all the videos you can go watch. I'm not going to rehash it, but you can go watch those videos. Then what happened next, I've explained a little bit about, but I haven't really gone into detail enough. And so that's what I'm going to talk about for the moment. So the next 4 days, what I did, and I did not plan 4 days at a time. This is just how it happened. The next 4 days, what I did was I dropped myself in different cities with different modes of transportation, not knowing where I was going to stay the night, not knowing anything or having done any research about where I was. So what I literally did was I would wake up in the morning and I would go, okay, where do I want to go? What feels right? And I would be really conscious and intentional about my energy and listening to myself and trusting myself. And then I would make a decision on where I was going to go, and I would get my car. Sometimes I didn't make the decision until I got in my car, or until I got going to the train depot. And then I would choose where I was going to go, and I would throw that in my Google Maps, and I would figure out how to get a ticket or how I was going to get there, and then I'd be off. And so I did that, and then I would get to that place, and then I would get off the train, and I would go, okay, open Google Maps, where do I want to stay? What's the hotel, B&B, like what feels right? And so then I would look and I would find what felt right, and then that's where I would go. I would find my way to get there, whether it was to find a taxi or if I was walking or whatever the mode of transportation was, I would figure it out. So I did this over and over and over again. This was not my plan, by the way. When I went to Italy, I knew I would figure it out when I got there, but I had no idea that every single day I was going to be changing where I was going. I only stayed in a place usually 1 to 2 days. And I also didn't have any idea that I was going to be practicing so much self-trust. I thought I was on a self-love journey. And here's where I'm going to get emotional. I was on a self-love journey because I realized that I didn't have love for me. I had love for everyone around me, and I didn't have love for me. And not the deep self-love, not really putting myself as I'm important, and really deeply believing that. So I didn't have that. So my journey to Italy started with me developing love for myself. So hence I worked on self, right? I was developing love for myself. Then what happened next was I started, as I was by myself, I started doing this where am I going to go thing, and I started developing trust within myself. So I really paid attention to how I felt, what my energetic signature was almost. Because we're energetic beings, and I was never a woo-woo person. I call it woo-woo, and it's not. We are made up of energy. And when something's not right, we have a reaction to it. But what happens is we don't pay attention. And so often we don't even give ourselves opportunity to experience trusting ourselves because we are so busy planning everything. We plan every step. We plan everything. We have an idea. We make the whole path to get there. All this planning stuff. And it leaves zero room for inspiration and zero room for trusting yourself. It's not just the inspiration. You can have the idea, but you have to trust that you're going to be okay. You have to trust that you know where it's right to go, who it's right to talk to. There's this deep level of self-trust that I didn't know existed. And so on this journey, as I would get up every single day and decide where I was going, I settled into, as I practiced this, trusting myself and believing every day that it was going to be amazing. Now, one of the reasons why people don't do this, I think I just got a raindrop on me. One of the reasons why people don't jump into what I just jumped into in trusting yourself, yep, it's raining on me, is because it's scary. It feels scary. Because the more we plan, the more safe we feel. And so if we have a plan and we have all the steps, then we feel safe. That's what it's creating. But what I'm here to tell you, and what the grace process teaches you, is how to find safety within yourself. So nothing outside of you needs to change or be different or be controlled in order for you to feel safe. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, hit me in the comments and I'll message you back. So as I went along this process, I'm just going to get rained on while I'm sitting here. So as I kept going through this process every single day, my trust for myself just kept getting better and deeper and more. And I realized what it was. And I realized how impactful it is. And I realized also that fear has no place in my life when I trust myself. And I no longer needed to pull everybody for their opinions. I no longer needed to look outside of myself in order to make a decision. I could make the decisions for myself and feel inside myself whether or not that was a right decision or not. Now you have to give yourself some space and a little bit of quiet in order for you to start this practice, to do this. Because when you have so much noise going on, it's hard for you to develop this practice. Now that I've developed it, it's just continuing to practice it. It doesn't mean that you've ever completely mastered. It means that it's a daily practice of every time I go to do something, I've got to ask myself, is this an energetic yes or is this an energetic no? How do I feel? So I went to a place, on the simplest of examples, I went to a place and I was buying something that you could inscribe on. And I bought a few things that you could inscribe, and I knew what I wanted to inscribe on most of them. And when it came down to the last one, I said, oh, can we inscribe on this as well? It was a gift. And the lady said, yes, we can. And I said, oh, wonderful. This is who I want it to go to. And she said, oh, it should say, with love, whatever. It said something on it. And I was like, okay, that was her suggestion, okay? And it sounded good enough, like it was good enough. And then I didn't feel settled though. Like I didn't feel settled. When you're very in tune, when you have like your mind-body connection, you can feel whether or not you're settled or not. Pay attention to it. I wasn't settled. So I left. Luckily she had given me her phone number and email, and she said, hey, if you need to make any changes, just let me know. So I went home, and on my way back, on the boat ride back, I realized it was wrong. Didn't feel right. And so I called her the next day and sent an email and said, this is what I want it to be. And then it felt settled, felt good. So paying attention to how you're feeling is your indicator of whether this is an energetic yes or an energetic no. We just have to pay attention. But we're moving so quickly and we're doing so many things that if we don't stop and give ourselves time, we don't have that opportunity to trust ourselves. We're going based off of everybody's recommendations and all the things that you see on Instagram scrolling, and your parents and your friends and everybody's noise. And then you have all this noise of everybody that wants to tell you how you're supposed to do stuff. Why do you think they know better than you? I want you to really think about that. Why would you think that they know better than you do for yourself? It's only if you don't trust yourself that you are looking to other people to make a decision because you don't know which way to go. And what I'm going to teach you is how to develop knowing where to go. So in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about my journaling practice so that you can have an opportunity to start to develop this same skill. All right? So I will see you on the next video.